Hi there, everybody. Karen Roby and Larry Dignan here with ZDNet, talking about Amazon's Prime Day 2019. It is upon us, and Larry, when we talk about this, it's really more than just a sale. It's really a way to create some real momentum for the company.
Yeah, I think the way I think of Amazon Prime Day is sort of, I kind of look at it and go, okay, so what is Amazon really trying to do? And Amazon's so massive that there's a bunch of nice side effects from Prime Day for Amazon. So, the first thing obviously is Prime subscribers. Cowen and Company estimates that there are 63 million US households that are Prime households. And of that sum, 44% are planning to buy on Prime Day. And another 42% are undecided, but will probably, if you entice them with a good enough deal, they'll probably jump on board. The other thing there is Prime Day gives, for all those folks not Prime subscribers, it gives them a reason to subscribe. So a lot of folks will subscribe just because they got a good deal on something. And that just creates a nice flywheel of recurring revenue. So, for me, yes, Prime Day drives a lot of stuff. Drives a lot of sales and, gross merchandise values and stuff like that. But the real thing here is Prime subscribers, because that's recurring revenue year after year. And those Prime subscribers also buy more stuff more frequently, and they just spend more. So that's probably the number one thing with the Prime Day to keep in mind. The other one is just sort of the Echo effect, right? Every Prime Day, you see tons of sales on Echo devices. And if you look at that, Amazon deeply discounts those things. And when you think about it, they used Prime Day like 2-3 years ago to basically carpet bomb the US with Echo devices, which put Alexa everywhere and it gave them an interesting inroad to all the smart homes and gave them a platform that they've been growing, right? Because the more people use Alexa, the smarter Alexa gets. And it works out from there. So what's interesting now, though, is that first wave of Echoes is already in the house. So Amazon is probably going to use Prime Day to basically spur an upgrade cycle, right? Like you're going to look at the, Echo Look or Show or whatever the ones with the screens have, and you're probably going to go, well, I want something different. As long as the deal's good enough, right? So Amazon with Prime Day almost controls its own upgrade cycle to some degree. So look for that too. That's probably the second biggest thing they got going on. The other thing to watch this year is, if you recall, in Prime Day 2018, there was that big outage, right? Where we all learned Amazon 404 pages have cute puppies and dogs all over them. So they never said what caused that outage, but they were very clear, more or less, to say that it wasn't Amazon Web Services. So, and if you notice in the past year, they've moved more things to Amazon Web Services. So, if the uptime's good and there's no hitches, then it could turn out to be a commercial for AWS, which, as most folks know, basically bring home all the profits, right? So that's another side effect. And then the weirdest side effect here is that what a lot of researchers are calling the halo effect. Amazon's Prime Day really lifts sales for a bunch of other retailers. And Salesforce has some data showing that, they're expecting a sales lift of like 51% for other retailers, just as they convert traffic, right? Because if everybody's out shopping, those folks are more likely to look at other offers. So you got companies like Walmart, Target, eBay. There's like 250 retailers out there, all trying to poach Prime Day traffic. So you may find better deals elsewhere. But the point is, Prime Day itself is starting to create this halo for e-commerce overall. And it's kind of fascinating to watch. And then the other big thing to note here is just the one-day shipping, right? Amazon's going to put for sale a lot of stuff that you'll be able to get in one day. And as that happens, that almost becomes a commercial for Prime and Amazon logistics, really. And as we all get used to one-day shipping, that becomes a competitive advantage for Amazon. So there's all these moving parts that, I sort of like to look at the game within the game. And I think the thing to really keep in mind here is just that Amazon Prime Day is really about the business. It's not as much about sales per se. And there's also weird discounting strategies that you'll see where the deals aren't as great as they seem. So there's a lot of moving parts, but when you're watching Amazon, I would definitely look at it and think of it in terms of what's Amazon trying to accomplish, like what's the business reason for it.
Yeah, and when you talk there, Larry, about the halo effect, as a consumer, it seems more and more, especially now that we're hearing Walmart and Target so much more into the game on this day or this week that we're leading up to, and it's almost like as a consumer, you feel like you're really going to miss out, kind of like on Black Friday. If you don't get out there and get those deals, then you're really missing out. That's the feeling that they almost are trying to create, it seems.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to create that feeling of urgency. And when you really look at Prime Day, it's really just a throwback to those Christmas in July sort of sales, right? But what's interesting here is that you still need to be savvy. So I would still comparison shop elsewhere because you might find other deals. And the other thing, just like Black Friday, some of those discounts aren't what they seem. So I think Salesforce had data saying the average discount will be like 21%, which is about what it was last year. And that 21% is actually down from what it was the previous year in 2017. So the retailers are kind of they're savvy on multiple levels. They're savvy on how they convert Prime traffic or Prime interest, so to speak, with shoppers. And they're also pretty savvy about discounting too. So it's also like Black Friday, you get those great doorbusters, but then the other things aren't really great deals. But overall, they're just trying to create this urgency to shop, which, most people fall for every time.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it seems we do year after year. And with the one-day shipping, Larry, I know you mentioned, and we talked about this just a couple months ago when they announced that would be what they're going to. I mean, it's still almost mind-boggling when you think about it, that you order something and the next morning it's on your doorstep.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten things same day. Like I've been included on these betas a few times where they're trying to see how fast they can get you stuff. And I've literally ordered things 10 in the morning and got them by 5. And that creates, if you're a Prime subscriber, that's a pretty nice perk, especially if it's free. And it really does take away, it takes away that need to go to the store, which is also handy. So, at the end of the day, I think we're going to look back at Amazon and see a really kick-ass logistics company, right? So, I think we're almost going to see Amazon more like a UPS or FedEx over time than necessarily a retailer.
Yeah, most certainly. It definitely feels like that's what we're going to. All right, so Larry, some final thoughts here. People really need to make sure they don't fall for anything in terms of what could just be, not such a great deal just because it's associated with Prime Day, but they need to be savvy shoppers.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to be savvy. I would definitely comparison shop too, especially since if the non-Amazon sites know you're interested in a certain category, then they might give you better deals. But Amazon's deals are going to be pretty solid anyway. The other thing to look for is Amazon, previous Prime days. What I found was just that Amazon is great at discounting its own stuff, like the Amazon branded things. This year, they're supposed to be offering more deals for top tier vendors, which I think is going to be interesting to watch because it positions Amazon up there with like the other retailers, the ones that, sort of cater more high end, have exclusives, things like that. So I think that's another merchandising thing to watch with Amazon too. So I think my big point is, even if you're not shopping, just watch it all unfold and see how it goes.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to see, Larry. All right, we thank you for your insight on this, and for more on Amazon's Prime Days for 2019, make sure you stay with ZDNet.